Okay, so with speed, right, the idea is that we are able to work out how much distance is covered in a certain amount of time, and usually it's in terms of hours, okay? So you can see here 35 miles in 30 minutes. So you've got to ask yourself, what would you be doing in an hour, okay? And of course, it's just a case of scaling this up, right? So that's 30 minutes. In 1 hour, of course, is 60 minutes, yeah? So you've got to think, what are we going to do to 30 to get to 60? Well, you're doubling, aren't you? Okay, doubling that time, the amount of time. So if they do 35 miles in 30 minutes, they can do 70 miles, aren't they, in 1 hour? All right, so you're doubling the time, you double the distance. Right, so 70 miles in 1 hour, we write that as 70 miles per hour. Okay? If you look at B, for instance, 70 kilometers in 30 minutes, do the same thing then. Okay, 70 kilometers in 30 minutes. Well, to get to an hour, you've got to times it by 2, haven't you? So times this by 2, you get 140 kilometers in 1 hour. So that'll be 140 kilometers. Now, when we write kilometers per hour, we write it like this, km, and we put slash to represent per, right? Hour. You don't do that there with miles per hour, you just put miles per hour. But the per in kilometers per hour is a slash like that, okay? Now, with the rest of the questions, you've got to think along the same lines, okay? So, for instance, here, 18 kilometers in 15 minutes. You've got to think, what am I doing there? Times that by 4, okay? If you think about it, times by 4, that will take you to an hour, won't it? Because there's 15 minutes, 4 of them in an hour, okay? So, you get 1 hour there. You need to times this by 4 then, so you get 72 kilometers. So that'll be 72 kilometers per hour. All right? So you can think about what you need to do to 10 minutes to scale up to an hour. The same then for 20 minutes. All right? Here, when we go over here, you will see like in 2 hours, in 4 hours. So in this case now, we might need to scale it back down. So you need to see what's going to be in 1 hour. So you're going to need to divide it by 4. Okay? In that case. So then you're going to need to divide that by 4. So of course when you divide by 4, you just halve it and halve it again. So half of that is 190, half of it again is 95. 95 kilometers in 1 hour, so 95 kilometers per hour. Okay, so here you'd have to divide by 7, yeah, to get this to 1 hour. So divide that by 7. You might need to do this. Okay, use the bus stop method to divide this by 7. So 7 into 8 goes once, remainder 1. 7 into 16 goes twice, remainder 2. 7 into 28 goes 4. So it'll be 124 kilometers in 1 hour. So 124 kilometers per hour. Okay? And then on the back you'll see certain questions here, like this one here, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, we will do this one. Now, in order to do this, to get it in an hour, you could scale it up, scale it down. If we sort of scaled it up, and say we times that by 4, I've picked that for a reason, because if you times this by 4, you get 4 hours. If you times that by 4, 15 minutes times by 4, 60 minutes, isn't it? So that's another hour. Okay, so 1 hour and 15 minutes times 4 is actually 5 hours. Okay. So I chose 4 because I knew that when you multiply by 4, you get a whole amount of hours. You just need to think, like when it comes down here, what you need to multiply this by, so that 20 minutes becomes a whole hour, and then you obviously times in that as well. So times in all of this by 4, you get this total time here, but you need to times this as well. So you get 80, times that by 4, you get 80 miles in 5 hours. So then you scale it back down then to work out what it is in 1 hour. Okay, so 80 miles then divided by 5 is 16. Okay, so you get 16 miles per hour. Alright, so see how you get on with this. I know this video's been a bit rushed, but see how you get on with the rest of the questions, and just use those examples that I've gone over there.